arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
So today we shall start a new sutta, that is, I think it's also a sutta of Paccavakkana Sutta, right? We did the Paccavakkana Sutta. We did last time. We did the Sariputta Upasama Sutta, right? Sariputta Upasama Sutta. That was Sutta number 40. And today we are going to do the Paccavakkana Sutta, Sutta number 53. Right? Sutta number 53 is the Paccavakkana Sutta. Gatha is not very difficult to understand. So we'll go to the sutta itself and try to read. That is 53. Right. Hope everyone can see the screen. So anyone is volunteered to translate? It's a very
May
short
I try,
sutta.
Bhante?
Sure, Brother Robin. Yeah.
Okay, Bhante. Ewang mi sutang ekang samayang bagawa sawatiyang viharati jetawani anathapindikasa arame. Thus have I heard, at one time the Blessed One was staying at the Jetawana monastery at the Anathapindika spot near Sawathi. Tenako panasamayena bagawa atano aneke papake akusale dame pahine pacawekamano nisino hoti aneke cak kusale dame bawana paripuringgate. At that time, the blessed one was seated, contemplated his own various abandoned unwholesome things, and various and attainment of fulfillment of various wholesome things. Is that correct, Bhante?
Yeah. Like Bhavana Paripuringati means which has come into the completion with
Has come into
with the practice. Yeah.
Okay, Bhante. Atako bagawa atano aneke papake akusale dame pahine wididwa aneke cak kusale dame bawana paripuringgate tayang welayang imang udanang udanesi. Then the Blessed One, having known his own abandonment of unwholesome things and the full completion of the various wholesome things, at that time he utters this utterance.
Right. For fulfill completion of all wholesome things by practice. Right. Bhavanaya Paripuring. That is one word. It came into completion of fulfillment with the practice. Right.
Completion of the gate is completion, Bhante.
Sorry.
What is the gate, Bhante?
Gate means Paripuring Gate. You have to take them as one. Paripuring Gate means gone to completion, gone to fulfillment, reach the fulfillment.
Oh, reach the fulfillment by practice.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay, Bhante.
We can say fulfill with practice. Yeah, you can just translate. This is a way of saying like Attangata. Attangata means going to the disappearance, going to the destruction, or going to the sun setting down. So we use that the place where they reach as an accusative case and use the gum, the root gum of going. It's just a way of saying, yeah. You're correct.
Okay, Bhante. So the gut right now the ahu pube tada nahu pube tada ahu nacahu nacak bawisati nacetarahi wijatiti. Bhante, you said this one is easy, but actually I think it's quite difficult when I try to learn it. I will try, Bhante. Before it did not exist, before it exists,
Existed. Yeah.
existed, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Before it didn't exist, then it exists. Jahu.
Okay. Okay.
Then it didn't exist, it will not exist, and now it will not found.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Is this correct,
So
Bante?
this is because this grammatically this is correct, but when we going to get the meaning, we have to go into the commentary. We'll talk about this at the end of the discussion, right? How to, because just translating the words will not give the meaning in this gata. This is a gata that has to be explained with the meaning. The meaning has to be brought in. What does it mean? It was before and it was not at that time. It nahu pube, nahu pube. It was not before tada ahu. It was there at that time. Nachahu nacha bhavisati. It didn't exist, right? And it will not be. Nachetarahi vijjati. Even now it doesn't exist, right? So what does it mean? This means to kilesas, this means to our noble path, and so forth. So for instance, ahupubbe means it existed. What were they? The kilesas, the defilements existed. Tadanahu, at the moment when the noble path arose, they were not there at that time. So likewise, we have to bring some meaning into these words, sentences, and then explain the teaching. So we will do that in the end of the sutta. Okay, thank you very much, Robin. Well done.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, so I think the sutta doesn't have much to explain grammatically. Evam me suttang ekan samayam bhagava savatyang vihirati jetavane anathapindika savami. You all know that. Tenako pana samayena bhagava nisinno hoti, was sitting. Nisinno hoti. So what was he doing? Attano aneke papake akusale dhamme pahine pacchavikkamanu. So this is the verb of the sentence, nisinno hoti. Bhagava is the subject. We have another nominative case ending verb. Nominative case ending verb. So if it is a nominative case ending verb, it can either be the subject, and either it can be a adjective to this particular subject, and sometimes it can be a present participle or a past participle, right? You can remember. So and the sentence is divided into different parts by the verb. That's what we discussed in the first lesson. The verb governs the entire sentence, and it can be divided into sections by the gerund, infinitive, the participle, and the special words with nominative case. Special words with nominative case. So here we find a word with nominative case. At the same time, it is a present participle. So we don't need to worry about that special kind of verb, which we have to annex with some other noun. Here it's a direct present participle, right? So the sentence is this present participle has its own objects, own instruments, and so forth. So the main verb was nisinno hoti. Tenako panasamena, we know that it's instrumental of time. We have already discussed this many times. Bhagava nisinno hoti, blessed one was sitting. So what was he doing? At the same time, while he was sitting, he was doing some other action. That was pacchavikkamanu, contemplating, reflecting. So what were the objects of his contemplation? What was the object of his contemplation? So aneke papake akusale dhamme pahine pacchavikkamanu. So the actual object is akusalai dhamme, unwholesome deeds. Dhamma is the actual object, and akusala is an adjective. And then various, aneke papake. Akusala is again explained as papaka. Why something is called papa? Papeti ti papam. One definition. These akusala states takes you to the woeful realms, even while we are not happy with it. Without our consent, they take us to the woeful realms. So that's why they are called papa. So these natures, unwholesome natures, which are also called papa, and they were various unwholesome natures, evil, unwholesome natures that have been abandoned, pahini, that have been abandoned, right? So this, I personally feel this is an adjective of akusale dhamme, the unwholesome deeds that have been abandoned. He was contemplating on them. So whose unwholesome deeds? Attanu, his own. So the blessed one was sitting, contemplating on his unwholesome deeds that have been already abandoned or that have been exhausted, right? Pahina. Pahina means that they have got exhausted already, right? They have got exhausted. So we normally we say it as an intransitive noun, pahayati, right? Pahina. Then also this Pachavikamano is again connected to the other phrase, other clause actually, that he was also contemplating not only the unwholesome deeds that have been developed, but also aneke cha kusale dhammi, bhavana paripuringati. Also the wholesome deeds that have wholesome qualities that have come into completion, that have got reached the fulfillment by bhavana. Bhavana here means by his practice, by his practice. So yeah, so bhavana paripurna. So the commentary says that he had, if you go to the commentary, to have some, yeah. Before we go, we'll finish the sutta. Then the Attako Bhagava, then the blessed one, Attanu aneke papake akusale dhamme pahine viditva, having known these abandoned unwholesome deeds, aneke cha kusale dhamme bhavana paripurin gate. So viditva is also connected to here. So likewise, Pachavikamano gate, like Pachavikamano. Is connected to this place as well. Why is that? Because he was not only contemplating the unwholesome deeds that were abandoned, but also the wholesome qualities that have been fulfilled. So here, even in this place, the viditva has to brought here, right? Has to brought. So he knew, having known all the unwholesome deeds that have been abandoned, and also having known the wholesome deeds, wholesome qualities that have been developed. So this viditva is connected to here as well. Tayang velayang imang udana udaris. He uttered this utterance. He uttered this utterance. Then we come to a very nice gatha, which gives us a lot of information about the practice. So we'll go to the
Hi, Pante.
yes, Dr.
Yeah, before we go to the Gatha, may I have a question about the sutta? So
yes.
Here we have the word Bhavana Paripuren. So you translated, and also Robert translated as the completion by development. Then what kind of word is Bhavana Paripuren? So if we translate it as the completion by development, then it looks like it's the Bhavana is short of Bhavanaya, and it has to be in the instrumental case.
Yeah.
Then is it like the this is Sandhi? It's not a samasa.
Normally this acts as a samasa.
But then if it's the by development, then what kind of samasa is that?
Bhavanaya Paripuri. It is a Tapurisa, but there should be some Kitaka word inserted between. Bhavanaya.
Well, because when we read the commentary over there says the parami pri bhavanaya magga bhavanaya ja paripuren. Vudigate, Vudigate. So here, I mean, because Bhawana is feminine, so it can be a lot of cases here. So I don't know whether or not it's instrumental or a genitive.
Yeah. So
Completion of development.
yeah, we'll go. Shall we go to the commentary?
Oh, sure, sure.
Right. So yeah, here at the 53, right? Mhm.
So Bandia.
Yeah.
Before you go into the commentary, I also have another question.
Okay.
So like the Bajawika mono, so can we say they are the nominative absolute?
Yeah.
That is better for the nominative absolute, right?
Yeah, that's nominative absolute. Yeah. Pachavika mano nisinno hoti. Yes. Yes, correct. It's nominative absolute. When the present participle and past participle are written in nominative case, they act as an absolute noun. Because it was done by the same person. If it's done by different people, the two actions, different agents, then we use the genitive or locative absolute. But if both the actions were done by the same agent, we use the nominative absolute. Right?
Yes, Bandia.
Okay.
But another question is that the akusane is expanded by the papake,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the babake is also the adjective for the dame.
Yes. Okay. We can say, yeah, akusala dhamma, papaka dhamma. Yeah. So what I mean was, what is mentioned as akusala dhamma is the papaka dhamma. If technically said, we have to say papaka and akusala are both adjectives to dhamma. You are correct. So what I mean was, it's what is akusala, that is also papa, though they are various. So I just wanted to explain that they were referring to the same thing. So papaka is not the adjective of akusala. Papaka is the adjective of dhamma.
Yes. So sometimes if we use the this type of word like babage, akusale, like dame for the dame, I think I don't know because under the other sense when it comes to like nisaya, like in Myanmar nisaya, maybe they will see the babage and the akusale, maybe something is a little bit different.
Papaka and akusala, you mean, right?
Yeah, maybe in some level is a little bit different.
Level difference, you mean?
Maybe it's a different aspect.
Yeah, that can happen. That is why it's the commentators explain sometimes here papaka means this, akusala means this. This kind of information is only, I'm actually, to be true, I'm unable to differentiate such kind of subtle differences, because these are what can be found in the tradition, commentator tradition. And maybe they had certain criteria to decide what is the real representation of these words. So sometimes we find the same wording in different suttas. They have given here, it means this akusala, in this context, it means this akusala. In another sutta, it is completely different based on the context. This is possible, Siali. This is possible. So what I said was regarding the word formation of papaka. Papa refers to unwholesome states that takes us to the woeful realms. That takes us to the woeful realms. So this was just, I was explaining about explaining the word formation, nothing other than that. As you said, there can be slight differences in their meaning, and I don't know whether there's a technique to understand it. Maybe because of the basic fundamentals. So that was the knowledge that came from generation to generation. And so the teachers would say, in this sutta, what is meant here by is this. In this sutta, what is meant here is this. So you are correct. There can be slight differences in the qualities, in the levels, and so forth. I'm not sure whether we have a technique to understand this. I'm not sure because I have seen the same word, a wording in word used in different suttas. Have the commentators have given slightly different explanations on that.
Yes, because when I learned with some other Myanmar monks before, so like when we say the worship, even the English, the translation is like a worship, but in Pali there has a different word. So according to them, they told me they are slightly different. So, but I don't know how can we know in that respect?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, so Dr. Ryan, the question is now I found the commentary point here. What you mean is here, right? Attano akusale anavajya dhamme ananta kalang parami paribhavanaya magga bhavanaya cha paripuring buddhing gate, right? So this is the place. It's a very, very important point to discuss because as you said, now if you look into the syntaxes, we find that the reason now the akusala states have reached the fulfillment in terms of by means of parami paribhavanaya, fulfillment of parami, and magga bhavanaya, development of the noble path. He has developed parami throughout the countless eons, and then at the moment of magga, vipassana and magga, he brought them into completion. So because of them, these natures, paripuring, buddhing, they reach the fulfillment and growth. They reach the growth, right? So if you look into this word, bhavana plus paripuri plus gata, right? So if you just make it the syntaxes, bhavanaya paripuring gatang gata, I would say, right? Because I just used nominative case here. He was using the accusative plural because that was they were the object of this pachavikkana, right? So if you use the nominative, so this is how it has to come. Bhavanaya paripuring gata. So as you said, if we want to make it a samasa, now I feel this is a one meaningful phrase. This is a one meaningful phrase. So without gata, this doesn't have any complete meaning. Bhavanaya paripuri. Bhavanaya paripuri means paripuri. If you think about if we take these only two words, because in samasa we have to make the samasa with normally we make it nominative case words. We don't make samasa of accusative to accusative, right? So then if you want to make a samasa here, bhavanaya plus paripuri, right? Bhavana, fulfillment, bhavana, fulfillment with bhavana, we have to say. Bhavanaya paripuri. Paripuri means fulfillment. So fulfillment is just a state. It's just a level. So if you want to make a samasa, this seems that we have to add something. Bhavanaya paripuri, fulfillment due to bhavana. But if you look into the above sentence, this makes sense. Having reached the fulfillment with bhavana. But what has happened here is what they have done. The word bhavanaya and paripuri has been connected and become bhavana pari puri, and then gata has been paripuri has been taken as one word, and this even comes into paripuring, and then it was taken as gata. So what I see here is this is not the regular type of a samasa. This is not a regular type of a samasa. If it was a regular type of a samasa, we have to bring all three and make it a tipada bahubhi or something like that. We have to all paripuring gata. First, we have to make paripuring gata. That is accused. If you want to make a samasa with normal rules, paripuring gata should be connected first. The realities which have read the fulfillment, and then bhavanaya paripuring gata, bhavana paripuri gata in this. So if you with the normal knowledge that we have, first we have to make the samasa here, and then we make the samasa the complete thing, right? That's normally how we would do. First we make this here, and then we go into the entire word will be connected with bhavanaya paripuri gata. But what has happened is they have connected the first two words and then kept it as a separate word, and the gata was written separately, which seems a little bit odd. So yeah, it's something we have to clarify. Yes, Dr.
No, just because I'm confused because the first question is that as you said, Bante, so we need the main word is gata, right? So it looks like if we want to make the you said the tapurisa, it's like the tatiya tapurisa. It looks like the connection is the bhavana gata, not the bhavanaya paribure, right?
Yeah.
So that so my question, the second point is, so if it is the samasa, then what kind of samasa is that? Because it's not quite tapurisa. You see what I mean? Because if tapurisa, then it has to connect the bhavanaya with the gata, not with the paribure.
That I need to ask from my friend actually, because I have gone through such samasa which have a very extra, like unusual pattern of the meaning. I have seen some kind of such samasa in the suttas that which I couldn't figure out what type of samasa it's there. So I think this is also because this is not yuttatta. This is not samaso yuttatto. Yuttatta means there should be a coherent in the meaning. Here we find bhavana and paripuri are not connected meanings.
Right.
So I'll ask from my friend and let you know.
Okay. Thank you, Bante.
I'll keep it in mind for sure. This is something that we need to clarify, because in the samasa, what I've gone through is like there are some samasas which breaks the normal ordinary rule. Right. I think you also have known that. So then we have to find out what kind of a samasa is it? What kind of how do we name it, right? How do we name it?
And then also, I
understand the meaning.
I don't know whether or not it's also that the possibility that it is just a sandhi. So I don't know.
All right, bhavanaya becomes the ya is dropped, and it's just bhavana paripuring is a sandhi. You mean? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's also I'll discuss with him. Surely they would know such things in Myanmar. These things are highly discussed in those examinations. Right. I'll be able to let you know.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Bante, sorry, Bante, about the paripuring. So, is it in accusative singular, Bante?
Yeah.
Why is that, Bante? Like, isn't that the previous objects are all plural, Bante?
No, it's because it's the object of gata, Brother Robbie. The place where the gata gam reach refers to going, right? So always there should be a place that we reach. So the place that one reaches with the action of going, with constructed with the root gam, should be written in accusative case. So it's just a grammatical point. It's just a grammatical matter.
Oh, okay, Bante. Thank you, Bante.
And it all the time, most of the time, the place where one reaches with the root gam is written in accusative. Sometimes it can be dative.
Okay,
Appo saggaya gacchati, for example. I think we have discussed this.
And then, Bante, like, I'm
Mhm.
curious, like, how about the Aneke Kusale Dhamme? Why they are not like maybe written in like genitive case, Bante? So like, the fulfillment of like,
You mean, so for that we need to go to the sutta, right? Wait, sorry. You mean this aneke cha kusale
Cha-
dhamme bhavana paripuring gate. Yes.
yes,
So what's the
like,
what, Praveen?
like the Aneke Cha Kusale Dhamme, will it be better like maybe if it's in genitive case like that, Bante?
Why
The
do you think so?
the fulfillment of the various wholesome
Ah,
quality like that.
no, it did. We should translate as the various wholesome qualities that have reached the fulfillment with practice. So they are adjectives of Dhamma, Kusala Dhamma, right? Kusala Dhamma are the ones who have gone, Gate. Kusale Dhamme are connected to,
Oh, okay.
right? And
Oh,
that the
okay, okay.
place they are reached is this.
Oh, okay, Bante. So the Niki Kusale Dhamme is the subject of the Gate.
Yeah. So what I think what you mean is you are asking like this. Anekanang kusalanang dhammanang. Sorry, what happened? Dhammanang
Yes, exactly, Bante.
paripuri, right?
Yes.
This is what you mean, right? The
Yes,
fulfillment of various wholesome qualities. But here the structure is different. He has known the wholesome qualities that have reached the fulfillment. Right?
Oh, okay, Bante. Okay, okay.
It's a different approach.
Oh, yes, yes. Correct, Bante.
Here in this sentence, we are not saying, we don't imply that this is the fulfillment of Kusala Dhamma. It's just the fulfillment. The wholesome deeds have reached the fulfillment. That's the explanation. It's not that the sutta doesn't explain. Okay, sutta Seale has lost the electricity. Okay, so here it doesn't mentions about the fulfillment of the wholesome deeds. The wholesome deeds that have reached the fulfillment.
Okay, Bante. Then I understand now.
May I
Okay.
have a comment on that, Bante?
Yes, yes.
I think it's easier to see the previous sentence because in the te na ko pana, because in there then the kusale dhamme is the object of the present participle pachavikamano. So the next sentence is because of that sentence. If we look into the previous sentence, it's easier to understand.
Yeah, he was looking into the kusalas. Yes.
Yeah.
He was not looking into the fulfillment of kusala. He was looking into the kusalas that have reached the fulfillment. Yeah, correct. Object of, from this paragraph, we can see object are kusala dhamma of Paccavekkamano. That's also one point. Now, if you ask what is the object of Paccavekkamano, is it bhavana paripuring or kusale dhammi? It's kusale dhammi. Object of Paccavekkamano is aneke kusale dhammi. Then what is this object? This is the object of gati. This is the object of gati. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bante. Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
So then we go into the vocabulary for the gata. Ahupubbe tada nahu pubbe tada ahu, nachahu nacha bhavisati, nachetarahi nijjati. So if we just translate, if we just put it into a normal sentence, how to understand the gata. Just make it a heading. Sorry, how to understand the gata. So we can think now. It's very simple kind of a formation, very simple words. Ahu is the verb here, right? Nahu means na ahu. Ahu means exists, how to say, existed, right? Existed. It's a singular of hoti, past tense, ahu. Then here we have nahu, ahu again. Nahu means na plus ahu, na ahu. Then again we have ahu here, bhavisati here, vijjati here. So it's just a very simple kind of sentence. There is no instrument here. There's no object here. Only we have subject, verb, and time. Subject, verb, and time. Time is normally written in locative case. So time can be found with any sentence because the time when the action has happened, right? The time action has happened. So if you now think this sentence, ahu pubbe tada nahu, right? Ahu pubbe. So this is one sentence. Tada nahu is another sentence. Ahu pubbe means existed before, right? Existed before. So pubbe ahu existed before. So what did it? What existed before? Ahu we can know is that is a singular verb, right? Is a singular verb. So we have to write so pubbe ahu. We just put a verb grammatically. So pubbe ahu, right? Tada na ahu didn't exist at that time. Pubbe is before, previously. Tada is at that time. Tada. So here also it's so because ahu is a third person singular. Then the next sentence. Na pubbe nahu. Pubbe na ahu didn't existed before. Again so because third person singular. Then tada ahu. Ahu means existed. Na ahu is didn't exist. Ahu is existed. At that time it existed. Put it so, right? You can put so or tang or sa, whatever it is. It depends on what kind of a noun the Buddha wanted to emphasize. If it is a nominative, masculine, so. If it is neuter, tang. If it is feminine, ta, sa, right? Then the next sentence, nachahu nacha bhavisati. Then it's saying nachahu, na ahu, cha ahu. Cha is and. So here also we have to say so. So cha na ahu, it didn't exist. Nacha bhavisati will exist. So cha na bhavisati. Then nachetarahi vijjati. Etarahi is now, right? So etarahi na vijjati. Vijjati to exist. Vijjati. So vijjati, ahu, hoti. In many cases they have the same meaning. Sometimes even we can use the word tittati, tittati, vijjati, hoti, bhavati, atti. They have very similar type of meanings. Even sometimes the vattati, when something is existing, the word has been used. So now it seems very contradicting. So pubbe ahu, it existed before. So tada na ahu, it did not exist at that time. So pubbe na ahu, it did not exist before. So tada ahu, at that time it existed. So cha na ahu, and also it did not exist. So cha na ahu, it did not exist. That's what I'm saying. It did not exist. So cha na bhavisati, it will not exist. So cha etarahi na vijjati, and also it doesn't exist. So it seems like these are one group. So cha na ahu, it didn't exist, will not exist, and does not exist, right? And this as another couple we can see. Okay. So pubbe ahu, it did exist, but it did not exist at that time. Then it did not exist before, but it existed that time, right? So here we can see pubbe pubbe. In first sentence, he's saying it did exist before. Here he's saying it did not exist before. Now he's telling it did not exist at that time. Here he's saying it did exist. It existed at that time. So it seems like he's talking about completely opposite natures. So what has been referred here should be the opposite. What has been referred here? I'll repeat again because we can see. So pubbe ahu. It existed before. In the second sentence, it did not exist before. So something existed, something did not exist. Then so tada na ahu. At that time, tada, it did not exist. Now here is telling at that time it existed. It seems like the darkness and the light, something opposite, right? When the dark, if we say darkness here, darkness existed before, light did not exist before. Tada na ahu. At a certain point, the light did not exist or the darkness did not exist. The light existed at that time, something like that. So it seems like, I think you got the point. It's completely opposite of each other. So the last three sentences, it is telling about something, some kind of a thing that did not exist, will not exist, and does not exist, right? So this is, now we have to think, it seems like, because Buddha was contemplating on his kilesas, he was contemplating on his wholesome deeds that he has already developed. Wholesomeness, unwholesomeness are completely opposite to each other, like light and darkness. So we can just guess. Maybe he was talking about something unwholesome and wholesome, right? Wholesome and unwholesome. So Buddha, even before his enlightenment, he was an ordinary person. Ordinary means in the sense of being a putujana. He was a special person as a bodhisattva, but in terms of the defilements, he had all the defilements that a normal putujana would possess because the potency was there. And then he completely eradicated them and became the enlightened being. So it seems like, so pubbe ahu, the kilesas existed at that time, right? Kilesas existed at that time, but existed before. Before means before the attainment, before the enlightenment. So before the enlightenment, the noble path did not exist. Before the enlightenment, the kilesas existed. Before the enlightenment, noble path did not exist, right? So when we can also guess at the moment of attainment, at the tada means at the moment of attainment, enlightenment, at that time the defilements did not exist or they completely disappeared. So tada ahu, the noble path existed at that time. So this is a guess that we can make. So this is how we try to apply the already existing fundamentals. Now we have read the sutta and we know that defilements are eradicated by certain noble paths. So we can merge these fundamentals and try to understand roughly. But it is not very admirable if we conclude the meaning just based on our own knowledge. So that's why we need to go into the tradition and see how they have explained about this explanation, right? About this explanation. So tatta ahupubbeti, right? There ahupubbe means arahatta magga jnanupattito pubbe, before the arising of the arihatta magga. Sabbopi chayang ragadiko kelesa gano maihan santane ahu asi. All the ragadiko kelesa gano, all the groups of kelesas were existing in my mind stream, right? Existing in my mind stream. Na imasmin kilesa gane kochipi kileso na hosi. So in this group of kilesas, there were no kilesas that did not exist before the attainment, right? So I think he was referring to because of this kilesa gana, because normally before the arahanta magga, one has already eradicated ditti, vichikicha, and so forth with the lower maggas. Maybe he was referring to something, some kind of the commentary is referring to some kind of different aspect of the kilesas. That's why they have used ragadiko keleso gano, right? So anyway, we'll first finish the meaning of the sutta. Tada nahuti. Now this is the next word. Tada nahu, right? So pubbe aho means before the attainment of Arahatta Magga, Kelesas existed in me. Tada nahu. At that time, tada, tasmin khale, Ariya Magga kane, at the moment of the noble path. So kileso gano na ha u na asi. So at that time, moment of the path, consciousness, moment of the path, wisdom, Kelesas did not exist at that time because they are getting eradicated. They are not existing, right? They are not existing. They are completely getting eradicated. At the moment of path, they are getting eradicated. At the moment of pala, they are already eradicated. Before the Magga, they exist, right? So there are three stages. Before the Magga, even at the moment of Gotrabhu, the Kelesas exist. It's true that they are lessened, but they exist. And after the Magga, the Pala moment, they do not exist. It means they are completely eradicated. At the moment of Magga, they are being eradicated. They are being eradicated. But this Gatha, the commentary says, at that moment, we do not consider those Kelesas, the Kelesas that is being eradicated. We don't consider them as existing. They are under the destruction, right? So here tada means that the moment of attainment. Pubbe means before the attainment, right? Tatta anumattopi kileso aggamaggakkane appahino nama natti. There is no even the slightest kilesa that is not abandoned at the moment of aggamaggakkana, at the moment of highest path. If you go into the Katavattu, they are slightly, the Katavattu and his commentary, they are very defined on this point, and they said at the moment of Magga, Kelesas are getting eradicated. At the moment of Pala, they are completely eradicated. But here in this commentary, we can see at the moment of Magga, they are said to be eradicated. Eradicated means it's not completed. They are under eradication. They are going under eradication even as a one mind moment. Then tato nahu tipi patanti. So some says, now this is another a very important aspect. Some teachers suggest that. Some suggest that tato nahu tipi patanti. Some say it's not tada, tato. So if you bring tato, what does it mean? Arahatta magga kanato parang nasiti. After the Arahatta Magga. It's not that at the moment of Arahatta Magga, after the Arahatta Magga. Because we find that normally it is mentioned after the Arahatta Magga, Kelesas are completely, the mind stream is freed from Kelesas. But it doesn't mean that at the moment of Magga, Kelesas are existing. We normally don't use that word. We would say it is being destructed. Then the next question comes. Arahatta Magga is a kusala chitta. It can give results. Why can it give results? Because it's at the moment of us arising, when it arose, the Kelesas were already there. So when the Kelesas are there, the Javana Chittas, whatever Javana Chitta arises, become either kusala or akusala. So the effect of Kelesa can still be found in the Magga Chitta, because when it arose, at the moment it was arising, it arose in a mind stream where the Kelesas, Anusaya was existing. So it became a Kusala Chitta. Afterwards, whatever Javana arises, it's not going to give results in future. So it's a very subtle point. Now here they are saying at the moment of Magga, Kelesas are appahina. There is no Keles. What they are saying is there is no Kelesa that is not abandoned. That is not abandoned. And also we say at the moment of Magga, Kelesas are getting abandoned. Magga, at the moment of Pala, Kelesas are abandoned. So maybe that's the reason some teachers, scholars at that time, while the commentary was being written, they say they utter the word not as tada, as tato afterwards, right? There is no Kelesa after the Arahatta Magga. Right? If we have a discussion, we can come on to this point. We'll just first finish this. Now pubbeti. Now we come into the next sentence. Pubbe na ahu, nahu pubbe. It did not exist before. What does it mean? Yo chayang mama aparimano anavajya dhammo etarahi bhavana paripurin gato. So whatever immeasurable good dhammas that have reached the completion at this moment, at this time, like while he was a Buddha, while he was contemplating, all the qualities have reached the completion. Uppalabhati, they can be found. Sopi Ariya Magga Kanato Pubbe Nahatu Naasi. So what does it mean? Buddha is saying at this moment of contemplation, he can observe all the wholesome qualities that are fulfilled, that have reached the fulfillment. So what is he saying? Before the Ariya Magga, before the path consciousness, before the noble path, noble wisdom, such qualities were not existing within me. They were not found in me. So that's what he's saying. Now, this na'ahu is referring to the path, the good qualities, the akusala dhammas. So they were not within myself, in myself, before the attainment. The first two were dedicated for the kilesas. This third sentence is for the wholesome deeds. Wholesome deeds, wholesome qualities did not exist before my highest attainment, right? So then tada ahu, the next one, tada ahu, right? Tada ahu. Yada pana me aggamagga jnanam uppannang, when the highest path wisdom aroses in me, to me, tada, at that time, sabbopi me anavajya dhammo asi, at that time all the wholesome qualities existed in me, or my wholesome qualities existed, right? They existed in me, they were found in me when the Ariya Magga arose. Aggamagga digamene hi saddin sabbepi sabbhanyu guna buddhanang hattagataya honti. With the attainment of the highest path, Arihatta path, together with the attainment, sabbhepi, all, sabbhanyu guna means the qualities of a omniscient person. Buddhanang hattagata eva honti. It is like those qualities are on his hand. It's like hattagata honti means he possesses him. He has the complete mastery over them. Buddhanang hattagata eva honti. It's like he already possesses them. So what does it mean? Tada ahu means at that time he possessed all the wholesome qualities that he experienced at the moment. While he was contemplating, he saw lots of wholesome qualities that have come into the completion, and they existed, they happened to him at the moment of attaining the path, right? So the third and fourth sentences are for the wholesome side, first and second sentence are for the unwholesome. So if we just roughly translate, so pubbe ahu, the kilesas existed before the attainment of Magga. So tadana ahu, at the moment of Magga, kilesas did not exist. So pubbe na ahu, all the wholesome qualities that he experienced as a Buddha did not exist before his attainment. So tada ahu, at the moment of attainment, he gained all these good qualities, right? So then nachahu nacha bhavisati nachetarahi vijjatiti. So what does this mean? If they did not exist, they will not exist, and they do not exist. Or it did not exist, it will not exist, it does not exist. Yopana, what does it mean? Yopana, so anavajya dhammo Ariya Maggo. So this is, he is referring to the noble path. Maihang bodhi mande uppanno. This noble path arose to me in the Bodhi Mandala, under the Bodhi tree in Buddha Gaya. Yena sabbo kilesa gammo ganu anavasesam pahino, by which all the kilesas were completely abandoned, completely eradicated, right? Yopanaso anavajya dhammo Ariya Maggo maiham bodhi mande uppanno yena sabbo kilesa gano anavasesam pahino. So yatta maihang magga kanato pubbe nacha ahosi. So that attainment, that noble path did not exist in me before the attainment, right? So Arya Maggo, Anavajja Dhammo, Arya Maggo, Maihang Bodhi Mande Uppanno, Yenaso Sabbo Kilesagana Anasa Pahino. So he's talking about the noble path, especially we are referring to the Arihatta path, Arihatta Magga, according to Sutta it seems. So Arihatta Magga arose to him at the foot of the Bodhi tree. So what is he telling? Before that moment, before the attaining moment, that Arya Magga did not exist in me. So that is what is meaning. It did not exist. Did not exist means the noble path did not exist. Evang attana pahatabba kilesa bhavato te kilesa via ayampi nacha bhavisati anagachetana upajjisan. So what is he mentioning? Now this path arose to me under the Bodhi tree, and it will not happen to me again in the future. He is referring not to the kilesas here. He is referring to the noble path. Why is that? Noble path arises to a person only when the necessity is there. What is the necessity? For the eradication of defilements. So when the defilements are not there, the noble path is not going to repeat. It's not going to happen again. So that's what he's saying. Nacha bhavisati. It will not occur again. The noble path did not happen before the enlightenment. It was not there before the enlightenment, and it will not happen again. Why is that? Pahatabba kilesa bhavato, because there is no kilesa to be abandoned. It's not necessary. Etarahi pachuppanna kalepi na vijjati na upalabhati attana khattabba kichha bhavato. So while at the moment of his contemplation, he was doing the contemplation at the Jetavana. Etarahi means at that time, at the present moment, even it does not exist. What is he referring to? The noble path. He's referring to the noble path. Nahi Arya Mag. What is that? Because there's no necessity. Nahi Arya Maggo Aneka Varang Pavatati. Arya Magga does not happen many times. Once it arises, it eradicated the kilesa, done is done. No need of a repetition. It's not required. Tene vaha ne parang digunang yanti. So in one sutta, Buddha mentions, the sutta has mentioned digunang yanti. It doesn't happen 2 times. Ne parang digunang yanti. You don't attain the nirvana 2 times, right? You don't attain the nirvana 2 times. It's like we after we have completely attained, you don't need to attain it again. Like after becoming arahant, you don't need to repeat it again, right? So so that's last one. Thus the basic one. Iti bhagava ariya maggena attano santane. So it says, thus the blessed one. Vikamano. It's a long sentence. Bhagava ariya maggena attano santane anavasesam pahine akusale dhamme bhavana paripuring gate aprimani anavajja dhamme cha pacchavikkamano attupanaika anaika piti vega visattang udanang udanis. So contemplating the his abandoned unwholesome deeds and also various wholesome deeds, while he was contemplating, he uttered the utterance. What type of utterance? Attupanaika attupanaika piti vega visatta. That is a piti that arose within himself, right? So like from something that arose in him because he contemplated about his attainment and also the liberation he had. So therefore it's a udana that came with a lot of piti. Purimaya kathaya purima vesarajya vesharadvaya meva katita pachimadvayang samma sambhodhya pakasitata pakasitameva honti. Purimaya katha. I think it's referring to a different story. Purimaya kathaya purima vesarajya dvayameva katitang pachimadvayang samma sambhodhya pakasitata pakasitameva honti. So this is referring to some other commentary of the Udana which we have would have come before this Gatha. right? Attupanayaka Pitivega Visatta. I think this refers to the Pitivega, the strong force of the Piti. Attupanayaka. Attupanayaka means contemplating, like Attupanayaka Sabbesang. It means when he contemplated about himself. I mean, when we do the Metta Bhavana, we say we do Metta towards others, taking us as the example, right? So when this Piti Vega arose in him, contemplating about himself, right? Contemplating about himself. So this is the Gatha, the meaning of the Gatha. To conclude it, here he was referring to, if we make it more, sorry, he was referring to Kilesa. The first two Gatha was Kilesa, Akusala, right? Better to say. Akusala. Then these two lines were referring to Kusala. We write it like this, okay. Then the last line was referring to noble path, Arya Magga. Kusala, this refers to Kusala, this refers to Arya Magga. So these are the things that I would like to discuss. It's seems like a very simple Gatha, but it has lots of information to discuss. Yeah, we can start a discussion on this. Yes.
Yeah, hi Vante.
Oh.
I have a question about the last sentence in the is it like the second paragraph, I think. It's the Akamaga digame na isaden taten sabe bisapanyu guna buddha nang hatagata ewa onti.
Right.
So the word buddha nang is it like the genitive case of the sapanyuguna or of the word hatha?
It is connected to Hatha.
Connects to hatha.
Yeah, but that is also another problem in the Samasa. It should be Buddha, Hatha should be connected, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is also another type of irregular Samasa. Hatha and Gata is connected, but not the Buddha and Hatha. We can find this in quite number of places. This genitive Samasa has broken the rule.
So you mean all of the attributes of the omniscience, we can say have reached the hand of all the Buddhas?
Arya Magga Jnanehi Sadding Sabbepi Sabbanyuguna. All the Sabbanyuguna Buddhanang Hattagataya Honti have reached the hand. It's like reach the hand of the Buddha.
So reach the hand of the Buddha. So it's not like all of the Sabbanyuguna of the Buddha have reached the hand.
I think Sabbanyuguna are something like qualities of a Sabbanyuta person, omniscient person. This is taking as an abstract meaning. Like if anyone is a Sabbanyu, he has certain qualities. Those qualities, every Buddha has reached those qualities with the attainment of Magga. This Sabbanyu Guna is considered as something like an abstract meaning. Like if anyone becomes Sabbanyu, he has these qualities. It's like, that's what I mean. Like feel like there is a quality, like there is a law that if someone is Sabbanyu, he has these types of qualities. So with the attainment of Magga, all these qualities are like Buddhas have, like that they have reached the Buddha's hand. Because Sabbanyu Guna as Hattagata.
Yes, yes, of course, yes. Yeah, the hatha kata modified, yeah. Tapanyugana, yes. Una, yes. Okay.
There is a, I personally see a problem here, Hatta and Buddha. Buddhana
Yes,
Hatta
yes,
Gata.
that's what yes.
So this, once I discussed with my friend also, he mentioned there is such a, with the genitive case, we can see such strange phenomena in the samasa. I have observed this many places.
So here also it's genitive. It's not what is that? Or it's not dative, but
I don't think so. Buddhanang Hatta Gata eva honti. If it is dative, how do we get the meaning?
so hatha kata,
Bande.
I mean hatha kata is like, you know, it's just the just reach the hand. It's like a saying, but it reach the hand for. It's like, you know, he's going to possess it. But for the
So
Buddha.
Bande.
For
Sorry.
the Buddha, Hatta Gata eva honti. Buddhana. Sabbanyaguna Buddhanang Hatta Gata. But I think Hatta Gata, normally this sentence comes, this like what I've known is, like if you want to say something we obtain, it has come to your hand. It's something that is like it has reached your hand. So it is, you are in complete control over this. That's why I got the meaning as genitive.
Yes. So that's what it means. But so hatha kata is like you have the total control. So you know, it's going to be in the total control for the Buddha. Can we say it like that?
For the Buddha. Buddhanang Hatta Gata eva honti. For the Buddhas, Buddhanang Hatta Gata. It's normally we would say. I'm thinking that what you mean. That's what I'm thinking about in the dative meaning.
The Bande.
Because if you
Yes,
say
yes,
you know,
Like
then it's like it's literal meaning, right? In the hand, that's what it's like literal meaning. The atakata is like we can say that it's not literal. It's just like you said, it's in total control.
But normally we you take Hatta Gata as a one separate word, right?
Yeah.
Right. Hatta Gata. Eva honti. Sabbanyaguna Buddhanang Hatta Gata. For the Buddhas. Makes sense when you think like that. Yes, Yale, you're going to say something?
but
Hello.
you also said that like like you said today, the root gang can govern two cases, accusative and dative case. That's why.
No, because this Hatta Gata is connected to Hatta as well.
So you know, I think the genitive is better.
That's what I personally feel. Hatta, because when we say the control, normally the word would come. It has reached the hands of the Buddha. It's like it has reached the hands of Buddha, so they are completely in control. So what Dr. Ryan is asking, like suggesting, is Hatta Gata is like the complete control for the Buddhas. It's this. Okay, we'll think on this, and yeah, I'll also ask my friend about this opinion.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay.
Bante, about the Pahataba Kilesa Bhawato. So is that the ablative case, Bante?
Yeah. About those. Due to.
Due to. And the Pahataba Kilesa Bhawato. So is it a Pahataba Kilesa Abhawato, Bante?
Pahataba kilesa nang abhava. Abhava is the absence. Right?
Okay.
Pahataba is to be abandoned. It modifies kilesa. Kilesa that should be abandoned. Pahataba kilesa, it becomes one word. Then pahataba kilesa nang abhava, absence of the defilements that should be eradicated. Then to, due to that absence.
Okay, Bante. And Atana, Bante. In here, what is it, Bante? Of a genitive, Bante?
Evang attana pahata by oneself.
By oneself, Bante.
This attana refers to magga. Attana
Refers to
pahata
magga.
kilesa bhavato te kilese via ayampi na bhavisati. So attana is the magga, noble path. It's not the Buddha is referring here, because we are talking about the noble path. Noble path arose to him in the Bodhi Mandala, and it did not arose to him before, was not in before. Even evang attana pahatabba kilesa bhavato, because of the absence of kilesa, that should be abandoned by itself. Te kilese via, like those kilesas. Ayampi nacha,
Okay.
that also will not happen in the future.
Okay, Bante.
Why the magga doesn't happen? Because there is no kilesas for it to abandon, for it to eradicate.
Okay, Bante. And then Bante, like the using of ahu is singular. So, but there are many things, many defilements. So it is taken as collective singular, Bante.
Because that is why kilesa gano it says. You see, kilesa gano, it's connect collectively taken.
Oh, okay, Bante. And then the raga adiko, Bante. Raga adiko and kilesa gano. How should we translate these two, Bante?
Raga
Like
adiko,
it's just
kilesa gana means group of kilesas, which are raga and so forth. So all the
Oh.
kilesas from raga and all are taken as a one group.
So like the raga adiko is included in the kilesa gano, Bante.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Raga
Bante.
adika means raga, dosa, moha, and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, Bante. Thank you, Bante.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Bante. I have a question about that as well. So the Ragadiko Kilesa Gano.
Mhm.
So here you translate it as the group of Kilesa, such as Raga and so on. But and then can we say Ragadiko? Yeah, Ragadiko. Ragadiko is like with the Raga as the first one.
Yeah, that's how we normally translate raga adi. And my friend once said me, adi can sometimes have the meaning of similar. Adi can refer to the beginning, starting from raga and so forth.
Yeah.
Raga as the first, and sometimes the similar ones, similar to raga and so forth.
I see. But it's just because the word we have ka here. Ka is like having. It's like having Raga as the first one.
Ka, you mean?
Yeah.
Adi. I think ka is just a samasa ending, Dr. Ryan. Ka, just the ka. Ragadi and ragadika has similar.
Yeah, because so but then we know that the ka is also the what is that tatita suffix, right? It can have the meaning of having, right?
I think this is a samasa ka, because there is ka and a in samasa also, right? Just without meaning.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is samasa anta ka.
Okay.
Yeah, you mean you take it as ika, right? Like a ika suffix.
Yeah.
Okay. Raga. Then what happens is raga di ika, having raga and so forth, right?
Yes,
Kilesa gana.
but
Kilesa gana which have raga and so forth.
yeah.
Mhm.
No, but yeah, okay. So, but then if you say it that way, then it is a little bit strange because when you say, the group of kilesa that having raga and so on, but
Mhm.
I think it should be better if you say that the group of kilesa that has the raga as the first one.
Yeah. Mhm. Even we make it as paubihi samasa, as you said, even though you make it a kitaka, sorry, tadita, ragadi plus ika, and in the samasa also we say rago adi yesam, right?
Yeah.
Rago adi yasa. The same. In the end, the meaning is the same. The group
yes,
which
of
has
course.
raga and so forth, right? In the end.
Yeah.
So yeah. So according to the construction, raga as the first. Rago adi yasasu. Rago adi yasasu. Yeah. It means
Yeah,
raga
to be
as
honest, I have a problem distinguish the meaning of adi. Sometimes it's so on, sometimes it's the first. So when it has the meaning of so on, so when it has the meaning of the first.
That is, yeah, that's I'm also unable to distinguish very clearly.
Right.
Sometimes I also feel like if we normally translate it as so forth, right? Raga and
Yeah.
so forth.
Yeah.
So once I discussed with my friend, he said adi sometimes can refer to similar, sometimes can refer to the first thing.
Yeah.
So Visuka Dasana and so forth, sometimes they use adi. He mentioned sometimes that adi can refer to these and these similar, if I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So Bande. Oh, so I have a question regarding the last sentence. You said Burimaya Kathaya Burima Visaraja Dwaya Meva Katitang. So you said here is refers a different story. But from my understanding, this is a summary of this Gatha.
Okay, Purimaya Katha. What is the first Katha then? What do you?
You see here, Burima Visesaja Dwaya Meva. That means the first two Gathas.
First two lines.
Yeah, first two lines.
But then what is the Vesaraja?
Let me check. Visaraja means self-confidence.
Yeah, self-confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. And that means last two gathas, last two gathas is made known by the Samma Sambodhi.
Okay.
When I read something like that is the summary of those gathas.
Yeah, that I just checked the previous story also. It doesn't have such any special quality of Vesaraja. When I was explaining, this thought came to me also, as you said, is it referring to the first two lines? Then why did he mean the word given Katha? Purima Vesaraja, because there are 4 types of confidence, right?
Yeah, but if you take the Gatha as a story, can we say it's just the first two speech or first two nouns?
Okay.
We don't need to take the story.
Can you quickly search what are the 4 Vesaraja? I forgot actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right here, Bante. So it's the first one is to have attained to a perfect enlightenment of which it cannot be said that it omits anything essential to it. That is the first one. The second one is to have destroyed all Genkers.
Oh, right.
Okay. Yes, and the third one is that it was that what were declared by him as obstacle to liberation are undeniably such. And the last one is that his teaching fulfills its purpose of actually leading to final liberation from suffering.
Okay, right. Then this should be the Gatha, right? Should be the Gatha, like Gatha, isn't it? Because first 2 is telling about fulfillment of wholesome deeds, abandon of akusala, right? Then second 2 are his teaching. If it says this would lead, it would surely lead. Other one is?
The other one is that was declared by him as obstacle to liberation are undeniably such.
Undeniably. So he's telling about his Samma Sambodhya Pakasitatta Pakasitameva Hoti. So last 2, okay, we'll translate this sentence. Yeah. Purimaya Kathaya in the first 2 lines, right? Purima Vesarajya Dvayameva Katitam. The first two Vesarajya wisdoms has been explained by these two lines. Because in the first line, he mentions about the abandoning of kilesas. The second line, he says about the fulfillment of kusalas. That's true. Then that is the two Vesarajya. Pachimadvaya, the last two Vesarajas, because that was regarding what he has said as an obstacle cannot be disproved, right? It will surely be an obstacle. And the other one is I forgot, sorry.
Yeah, about his teaching.
His teaching that if we
Yeah,
should surely
fulfill his purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, fulfill the purpose. So samma sambodhya pakasitatha pakasitameva hoti. So Pachimadvaya, because with this the two Vesarajya has been explained in the two lines. The last two Vesarajya, because his attainment has been explained, his Samma Sambodhi has been explained, maybe by the all four gathas or maybe by the last lines. Somehow his Samma Sambodhi has explained. So Pachimadvayang here refers to the two final Vesarajya, because there are four types of Vesarajyas. First two has been explained in the first lines. The last two has been explained because the Gatha says Samma about his full enlightenment. Samma Sambodhya Pakasitatha Pakasitameva hoti. So the last two Vesarajas have already been expressed. Why is that? Because his full attainment, complete enlightenment, Samma Sambodhi, has been explained by the Gatha. Yeah. Thank you for that, Sally. Yeah. This is not about the previous Gatha Sutta. This is about the same Gatha.
So Pandya, I couldn't find the four Vesaraja. They just mentioned the four Vesaraja, but they didn't mention what exactly the four Vesaraja.
Dr. Ryan, where did you find it?
Yeah, it's in the dictionary.
So it's isn't it in Majjhima Nikaya?
It's in the Buddhist dictionary, yes.
Is the reference is given? Reference? No.
Yes, it's what is A? Majjhima Nikaya as well. Majjhima Nikaya. And then what is A? A is Anguttara Nikaya 4. Page 8. Yes.
Right.
And also 7, yes.
Yeah, if you can please share it in the group, we can have a look.
Sure, Bante.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, so shall we call it a day, Sally? Any question? Someone was asking a question.
Oh, so Pandya. Hello.
Some students asked a question, I think. Someone was.
So Pandya, I saw here they are the four confidence. First is a perfect self-confidence, and the second one is self-satisfaction, and the subject of confidence is something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent it to the Bible group.
Yeah, I also saw that. This dictionary.
Okay, so shall we call it a day, Sally?
Yeah, but I heard one school has a question, right?
Yeah, that's what I just also stopped. Attain the perfect enlightenment of which it cannot be said that it omits anything essential to it. Shall destroy all the cankers, leaving none that can be said to be undestroyed in him. That what were declared by him as obstacles to liberation are undeniable. That his teachings fulfills his purpose of actually being in the full beauty. Yeah. Yeah.
It's in Mahasihanada Sutta, right?
Yeah. Sihanada.
Mahasihanada, Majjhima Nikaya.
I think there's no questions. So shall we call it a day? I think it's already 11 to Myanmar.
Okay, excuse me, Bante.
Yeah. Okay, Sally, please.
Is it okay to ask now, or can I ask? Must I ask for the next class?
Is it related to this sutta?
Yes, sure.
Okay, just quickly ask. Okay, please.
Yeah. So very basic question though. Why
Mhm.
every time it is mentioned Arya Mako? I think it is kind of redundant because when we think about Magga, then we think about Arya Magga, right? So why the commentary keep mentioning Arya Magga here? And also before you mentioned about papake, the definition. Papehi something. I don't think I can catch it. Where is that? Where do you think I can find the definition, please? Pleasant
Papa, right?
Yes. And also another one is when we explained about the Gatha, the last two lines, we mentioned about the Magachita, and then the last sentence, the summary as Sele say, now it mentioned somebody. So it's just, it's like one more level, I think. It's just, yeah, like that.
You mean the
That's all.
last lines about Samma
Yes.
Sambodhi?
Yeah. So before we were just saying only the Magachita. It was mentioned about the Magachita. It was not there. It was not going to happen. It was not found at the moment, like that. So now, in the end, they mentioned the Samma Sambodhi. So this is only specific to the Buddha.
Yeah. Because this was talking about Buddha's attainment, right? So I think they were talking about, that's why they were, because this was a utterance made by the Buddha about himself. So automatically it becomes the Samma Sambodhi. So what they're saying is they want to emphasize that with the this Gatha, in one way or another, the four Vesarajas has also been explained. So the Gatha, if it says about an attainment, according to the commentary explanation, we are talking about the Samma Sambuddhahood. So if Samma Sambuddhahood is mentioned, what he has uttered, what he says cannot be otherwise. So I think that's what they are meaning.
So my question is, why didn't they just mention Samma Sambodhi and in the, like at the beginning, right away, so that there will be why wait till the last?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. When we say Samma Sambodhi, we refer to two wisdoms, the path wisdom and the omniscient wisdom.
Yeah.
So omniscient wisdom does not eradicate the defilements. That's the problem. That's the thing. So when we are talking about the eradication, we only talk about the path consciousness. So maybe that confusion can occur. That's why they were not talking about taking the general, like the some word Samma Sambodhi, because it covers both the omniscient and the path wisdom.
Okay.
So that's why they were referring as Mag. Then the next question, Magga and Arya Magga. The thing is, according to Abhidhamma perspective, Magga is always noble. It's always the Arya Magga. But when it comes to Suttantaka Paryaya, the Suttanta method, even you can see it in the Vibhanga. When you come to the Suttanta method, Magga is mundane and supramundane both. So the practice that we do, the Sila Samadhi Panya, our practice also is considered as Magga according to the Suttantika way. But if you go into the Abhidhamma way, Magga is only the one mind moment which eradicates the defilements. So therefore, this is a Suttanta one where they have mentioned always when you say Magga, you have to mention whether it's Lokiya or Lokuttara.
I see.
Right?
Thank you.
So then the Papa is the moment I'm unable to find. I've seen the definition. Papa means the realities which takes you to the woeful realms, even without your consent. Like then you can ask the question: isn't it that the kusala takes you to the blissful abodes? So they shouldn't they be also called Papa? The thing is here. The act of dragging you to some place is very obvious when we do not like to go there. For instance, I do not like to go to a certain place, for instance, certain garden or ground. Someone drags me there. So then that dragging, act of taking is very, very obvious. But if I also wants to go there, so I have a desire to go there. In such a case, the act of taking is not very prominent because I myself is also willing to do that. So that's why the act of papeti is used, attributed only to the unwholesome deeds, because they take us to the woeful realms where we do not desire to go even in dreams, right? So that's why the word papa definition was given in such a way.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so shall we call it a day? And thank you for listening. And so
Yes,
we'll
thank you, Bande. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, I checked in some places the Baba is means akusala.
Okay. Mhm. The definition, I'll try to find it up because I read it a few weeks ago. I read the same definition. I read it before. I'll try to find that same share. And we have two questions like about the samasa and all. I'll discuss with my friend and let you know.
Okay, thank you, Bante. And then also, Bante, so maybe next time we talk a little bit about the Sawaka Paramignana as well.
Yes, that's also something.
Yeah, because I thought about that a little bit.
Okay, right.
So our Bande advisor, he is very busy.
Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.